Happy Thursday, everyone! Nars here, filling in for Akeem with your entertainment fix. Today, we've got exclusive casting news for HBO's The Last of Us series. The Black Adam solo movies include a post-credits scene, no surprise there, and Peter Jackson took some drastic steps to forget he made the Lord of the Rings trilogy. All the details on today's fix of entertainment news. The Last of Us's Henry and Sam have officially been cast. In IGN exclusive, actors Lamar Johnson and Kayvon Woodard will be playing Henry and his younger brother Sam, respectively. In the game, Henry and Sam are the two fellow survivors. Joel and Ellie meet on their journey. The brothers are on the run and are initially distrustful of Joel and Ellie, and it sounds like their story in the show isn't drastically different from the game. The official release describes them as, quote, brothers in Kansas City hiding from a revolutionary movement seeking vengeance. And that's not the only casting news. Two new characters are being added to the show. Graham Greene and Elaine Miles will guest star as Marlon and Florence. They are described as, quote, a married couple surviving alone in the wilderness of post-apocalyptic Wyoming. No other details were given other than the couple are new and have no connection to the game, so if you've been expecting the show to be exactly like the game, you might be in for some surprises. The Last of Us will arrive on HBO and HBO Max sometime in 2023. While you can wait for the live-action adaptation, you can replay the original game in a complete remake made exclusively for PlayStation 5 this September. And if you can't wait that long, you can play the PlayStation 4 remaster or the PlayStation 3 original right now. Jumping from the small screen to the silver screen, a test screening for the upcoming Black Adam movie appears to confirm a post-credit scene. While that's not really news, pretty much every superhero flick these days is required to have one. The fact that it seemingly ties into the wider DC universe is interesting. According to The Hollywood Reporter, a June test screening included, quote, a new post-credit scene introducing a new element to Johnson's place in the DC universe. There aren't any details about what the scene actually is, but the fact that it ties into a bigger universe is interesting, given the current state of DC's movie IPs. The Snyderverse is effectively dead, with the last pieces of it living on in solo films like the upcoming Aquaman 2, Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and The Flash. The Batgirl solo flick was recently canned despite being mostly shot, with the new WB Discovery executives explaining that they want to commit more to their film properties beyond the scope of Batgirl, which was originally set for HBO Max and not a theatrical release. And Black Adam star Dwayne Johnson previously teased more Black Adam content by saying the film is the start of, quote, a very long storytelling road. So it kinda sounds like the DC Extended Universe is in disarray at the moment, and Warner Bros. Discovery is probably hitting the reset button on it. Unconnected solo projects like Matt Reeves' The Batman and Todd Phillips' Joker were huge hits. But Snyderverse-era flicks Aquaman and Shazam also made bank at the box office. WB Discovery recently announced a 10-year plan for their movie franchises and is searching for a Kevin Feige-like figure to shepherd the whole thing. That said, considering the long-standing rivalry between Black Adam and Shazam, and the fact that Fury of the Gods is the next DC movie planned to release just a couple months after Black Adam, my money's on some kind of crossover there. It has to happen. Guess we'll just have to see if this pays off in the long run. But you can catch Black Adam in theaters October 21st, and you can catch the Black Adam post-credit scene, well, after the credits, obviously. Black Adam and Shazam: Fury of the Gods are both out later this year. And finally, Peter Jackson tried really hard, like I'm talking really hard, to forget making the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And no, it's not because he hated it. It sounds like he was just really jealous of everyone else who actually got to see it. Speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, Jackson said, quote, I always felt I was the unlucky person who never got to see them as coming out of the blue film. By the time they were screening, I was immersed in it for 5 or 6 years. It was such a loss for me to not be able to see them like everyone else. Apparently, he considered going to extreme lengths to watch the movies just as a fan by considering hypnosis. The filmmaker said, quote, "I actually did seriously consider going to some hypnotherapy guy to hypnotize me to make me forget about the films and the work I had done over the last 6 or 7 years so I could sit and enjoy them. I didn't follow through with it, but I did talk to British mentalist Darren Brown about that and he thought he could do it." Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy debuted in 2001 and followed it up with the Hobbit trilogy 11 years later. J.R.R. Tolkien's work will live on in Amazon Prime's The Rings of Power series. It clearly takes some cues from Jackson's trilogy, but he hasn't had any major involvement behind the scenes, which technically isn't part of the movies, but looks like it borrows a lot of visual elements from Jackson. So hopefully he can probably experience that for the first time, just like everyone else. And that's it for today's Entertainment Fix. What do you think WB Discovery should do with their film properties? Because it looks kind of messy. Take another shot at the connected universe or go with solo movies all the way? And if there's one movie you could forget so you could watch it for the first time, a second time, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. Download the IGN app on all your devices. Follow us on all social medias or your social media of choice. And for all your movie news, stay tuned to IGN.